Assassin's Creed with the black samurai and the female ninja, by the way, which is not historically accurate either. There were females involved in espionage, usually more involving prostitution, not actual combat. I mean, who's that stupid, right? Well, of course, that would be the people from Ubisoft. They had semi-apology made Assassin's Creed Shadows an update for the Japanese community. This is just from right now. But before we get into that, let's check out look how this thing was ratioed, 17:10, and this is not the worst. There you have Assassin's Creed Shadows, feudal Japan. Who do you have in feudal Japan? A confident, strong black man. Yes, straight out of LA, apparently, because he talks like no black man in this period ever would talk anywhere, not even in Africa. But hey, doesn't matter. He's like a 50 Cent samurai. Let me translate some of the Japanese replies because I do speak Japanese fluently. Here it says, "You horrible round-eyed devil monster Americans, go to hell. Fry, you horrible racist people. Death to America, death to America. Die." Yeah, that's not pleasant. We are not a fucking Disney show, you assholes. And it goes on. It's no, I can't. Those are not nice words. They're very upset. Why? Because of cultural appropriation, because of considering their entire culture as a joke, as rich and as fascinating as it is not a Disney movie. This is not real. There was never a black samurai of any kind. There were barely any black people in this part of the world at this stage, let alone anyone that was a samurai. Pretending that a black samurai like this ever existed is like saying that you had King Arthur, right? It was, or pretending like the Black Prince was a Mexican mariachi. I mean, why not? It could have been, right? No. It doesn't match in any shape, form. It's not genetically accurate. It's not historically accurate. There were no Mexican mariachis at that time in England. So no, the Black Prince was not a Mexican mariachi. This is just as fucking stupid and insulting. Pretending that your entire culture is a joke, and just because there is an account of someone seeing a black servant of a certain priest that was traveling in the area, using that fucking excuse so as to make a black samurai, they should be ashamed of themselves, but of course they're not, because they're racist. They believe that they can impose their own fucking bullshit on everyone else, including Japanese people, and they don't like it. They don't like it one bit. This is not their culture. No, it's not this. It's not even this. But this is like, okay, you're gonna. Oh, all right. Let's just. But this something so specifically inaccurate. It is a slap across the face. So what they say makes things, of course, even worse. To our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks. What are you thanking them for? For being pissed because of what you did? For all the support for the Assassin's Creed series, which we now has. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long cherished dream. What your dream was? What? Shitting all over that culture, that history? That was your dream? Not respecting it one bit? Was it that fucking much of an ask to have Japanese people in feudal Japan? You could not give them that. You had to impose your agenda. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed, we have received many positive, no, you have received none, but also some criticism. No, it's actually a lot of criticism, and you are the only ones cheerleading yourselves, including from you, our Japanese players. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions on creative decisions. Okay, let's see how they pull that off. Overall authenticity efforts, we have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. However, our intentions has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representations of history or historical characters. Bullshit. You're a bunch of disgusting liars. Shame on you. You look into all of the details. You look into the way people look. You look at the facial features. You look at how not only people looked, how buildings were made, what kind of food they would eat. You look at as much historical accuracy as possible. And of course, there is little elements of fantasy. But usually even that is adjusted to that culture, to that mythology. The idea that you don't do that, it is an insult to everyone's intelligence. You do that all the time. It's just that in this case, you wanted to pull your crap, your woke nonsense on everyone, and it just backfired in the most horrible way. But pretending that you don't do factual representations as factual representation of history? No. Yeah, right. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical settings we get inspired by. How? By lying about how things are? That's how we inspire people, by lying about black samurais? Yeah, it's like, it's the 50-cent samurai, right, yeah. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Yeah, it's a historical fiction, guys. Yeah, it's historical. You know what's a historical fiction? A historical fiction is usually something that, even though it involves fantasy and it's a flight from reality, it's still attached to some of those elements. Mythology, the culture, the fantasy linked to that history. This is none of that. This is you being woke. That's all there is. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians. Why are you even saying this? If you say that this is not what you're doing, why is it that you try to make this like a case of you consulted with historians, researchers, and internal teams at Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices? So yeah, no one ever told you there was a black samurai. You still just made that up, but you still pretend that it's based on research and historians. Despite the sustained efforts, we acknowledge that some elements in our promotional material have caused concern with the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. All game footage we presented so far is in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Based on the constructive criticism we have received, we will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. If you have any integrity whatsoever, you will remove this character and you will put a Japanese character where it belongs. You can get away with this shit. Most people don't even notice that. Anyone that read any book about ninjas, actual espionage, which is usually what they would do, and assassination, that sort of thing. Yeah, there was never a ninja. There was never a ninja warriors to begin with. It's not as if it's with samurais. It's assassination basically. And usually as in every single fucking time, you would send a man to kill another person, not a woman. Women would usually be working as prostitutes or people connected, or poison someone, or maybe gathering information and passing on that. That would have been very interesting, but you're so fucking lazy, you're so obvious, you lack the creativity to do things in the proper way, so you can't be expected to do that. Make an intelligent Japanese woman that is connected and using roleplay elements to get the upper hand by being smart, cunning, clever, using and levering information. That would have been not only historically accurate, that would have been actually fun. This is not, and this is just an insult. But let's go on. We also want to clarify, while we have been consulting with many people through development, they are in no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by creative teams in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. How the hell is it that making this guy Japanese, as he's supposed to be, changes the game in any way? How is it that it changes the game in terms of how you play it, how much fun you have? Do you think anyone would be upset that you have a Japanese guy in a Japanese in a game based in Japan, in feudal Japan? Do you think anyone expected anything other than a Japanese person in a samurai video game? Are you fucking crazy? No, of course not. You're just woke, which is kind of like being crazy. It is a mental disease at the end of the day, right? Creative liberties and historical inspirations, while we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, Assassin's Creed game, take creative license and fantasy elements to creative representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. No, it is not. That man was never a samurai. He never held a fucking sword in his life. He was basically a servant of a traveler, a Jesuit traveler. That was all there is. There's no confusion. It was so upsetting and incredible for Japanese people the first time they saw a black man. They tried to clean him, to remove the ink. They could not believe he was a real human being. That's how Japanese would have reacted to a real black man in that period. Not just, oh yeah, of course you're the black samurai guy. No, that is nothing like it. We have woven this carefully into our bullshit, into our narrative, and with our other lead characters, Japanese shinobi Naoi, who is equally important in the game. Our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. It's just a guy. You could have just used a Japanese guy, as you should have. We greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue sharing your thoughts respectfully while we understand. Yeah, so we encourage you to shut up while we keep insulting you, is what they're saying. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectations is difficult, sincerely hope that Assassin's Creed Shadow launches players in Japan. No, you will not sell a damn thing. It's going to be a disaster. And you basically have all of Japan cursing your company. And yeah, hoping you fail and burn in hell for what you've done. And around the world will appreciate the dedication. No one likes your woke shit. And this Yasuke crap that you try to pull, that was never a real thing. It was one guy that was a servant. It would have been more accurate to put him as a slave rather than a samurai. He was more of a slave, a servant, maybe not in chains, but in that role. If you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about how black people have been treated at different times of history and so on, okay, do a video game about that if you feel it's in good taste. But it's not true that he was a fucking samurai. You know that. We all know that. So stop lying and pretending that you're historically accurate while at the same time saying, we just make shit up as we go. And don't be mad as we insult you. Fuck you. Yeah. Go to hell at Ubisoft. Yes, this is just disgusting. It is incredible how these people that pretend to be so inclusive, woke, and diverse also happen to be the most racist, disgusting people you could possibly think of. This is not inclusive. This thing is not inclusive, or this is racist. This is the worst kind of racism, which is thinking that you have the right to impose your bullshit of what is inclusivity on others culture, on others history. Because I'm inclusive, I make shit up about who you are, what your identity is. You're black people. No, you're black people. Imagine doing the same thing the other way around. Doing a video game about a brave African warrior fighting lions. He's black. He's white. There was a white person there sometime, probably, I guess. If not, I'll just make it up because it's a video game, right? He's white. He's a white guy in an African tribe of whatever warrior tribe you could think of. Okay, yeah, he's white. He's blonde. He's a long-haired blonde Viking dude in the middle of Africa. He's actually the leader of this African tribe. It's the white man ruling over all of these African dudes. You think that would be appropriate? You think you would ever do something like that? Of course not. But when it's about Japanese people, you think you have the right to pull this. Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves, Ubisoft. Anyway, that's all for now. See you next time. Take care.